No toothbrush, no toothpaste, no dentist ever, not once, in an entire lifetime. And yet, when scientists dig up the skulls of ancient humans, they find something that should be impossible: teeth in better shape than most people walking around today. No fillings needed, no decay epidemic. So how did an entire species survive tens of thousands of years without brushing a single time, and somehow come out ahead of us? The answer isn't that they had magic teeth, it's that they never gave their mouths a reason to fail in the first place. Today, dental hygiene feels non-negotiable. Brush twice a day, floss, mouthwash, regular cleanings, and skip it for even a week and you already feel the difference. So it seems almost absurd that our ancient ancestors, who had zero dental tools, zero fluoride, and zero concept of oral hygiene as an idea, could have avoided the massive cavity and decay problems that plague modern mouths. But archaeological evidence consistently shows exactly that. To understand why, we have to look at what was actually different, not in their habits, but in their entire way of eating. Before we go further, here's the key mechanism. Cavities aren't caused by not brushing directly. They're caused by bacteria in your mouth, feeding on sugars and refined carbohydrates, producing acid that erodes tooth enamel over time. Brushing works because it physically disrupts that bacterial buildup, called plaque, before it has time to do damage. So the real question isn't, why didn't they brush? It's, why didn't their mouths build up the kind of bacterial environment that causes decay in the first place? And this is where it gets interesting. The ancient human diet, before large-scale agriculture, was mostly wild meat, fish, nuts, roots, and fibrous plants. Crucially, it contained very little sugar and almost no refined starch. The bacteria responsible for tooth decay thrive specifically on sugar and simple carbohydrates, and those were rare or completely absent from the ancient menu. Without a steady supply of the exact fuel decay-causing bacteria need, the bacterial populations in ancient mouths simply never reached the levels that cause serious damage. There's another piece to this. Ancient food wasn't soft, processed, or pre-cut. It was tough, fibrous, and required serious chewing. Raw roots, dried meat, fibrous plants, and cracked nuts all required extended, forceful chewing to break down. This constant, heavy chewing acted almost like a natural toothbrush. The coarse texture of the food physically scraped along the tooth surface, helping to dislodge food particles and disrupt bacterial buildup, purely as a side effect of eating. Chewing tough food also triggers significantly more saliva production than eating soft, modern food. Saliva isn't just there to help you swallow. It actively neutralizes the acids produced by bacteria, and it contains minerals like calcium and phosphate that continuously help remineralize and repair microscopic damage to tooth enamel. More chewing meant more saliva, which meant a built-in, ongoing repair and defense system running constantly in the background. No toothbrush required. It's important to be accurate here. Ancient human teeth weren't flawless. Archaeological remains do show significant tooth wear, since a lifetime of chewing tough, gritty, fibrous food ground teeth down considerably by adulthood. Some individuals also show abscesses or breakage, often from using teeth as tools, or from small bits of grit and sand mixed into food. So it wasn't a perfect system, but the specific problem we associate with modern teeth, widespread cavities and decay, was dramatically less common. Here's where the story shifts. When humans transitioned to farming, roughly 10 to 12,000 years ago, diets changed dramatically, shifting toward grains and eventually more processed, starchy, and sugar-containing foods. Archaeological evidence shows a clear, measurable spike in tooth decay following this transition. Skeletal remains from early farming societies show significantly more cavities than hunter-gatherer remains from the same regions just before agriculture began. This is strong evidence that diet, specifically the introduction of starches and sugars, was the real turning point, not hygiene habits. Fast forward to today, and we've combined the worst possible conditions for oral health: constant access to sugar and refined carbohydrates, softer processed food that requires far less chewing, and therefore far less saliva production to naturally fight back. Brushing and modern dental care exist largely to compensate for a diet that actively works against our teeth. In a strange way, we invented toothbrushes to fix a problem that our own dietary shift created in the first place. None of this means brushing your teeth is pointless. Quite the opposite, since our modern diet genuinely requires that extra defense. But it does reframe the whole picture. Ancient humans didn't have healthier teeth because they were somehow biologically superior. They had healthier teeth because their environment and diet simply never created the conditions for widespread decay. It's less a story about hygiene and more a story about how deeply diet shapes the body in ways we don't always think about. So cavemen didn't need to brush their teeth, not because they had some ancient secret we've lost, but because their diet of tough, fibrous, low-sugar food naturally protected their teeth through heavy chewing and constant saliva production. It was modern agriculture, and later modern processed food, that created the very problem brushing exists to solve. Would you trade your toothbrush for a diet like theirs? Let us know in the comments, and subscribe for more videos exploring how ancient life shaped the bodies we have today.